Good afternoon, everyone. I show that we've got about 37 people on the call right now, and I know we've had 79 register. So I know many of you have been attending these weekly sessions, and I'm happy to report that we have opted to continue offering Teams Tips at 2 throughout Fridays in July. So HR will be sending out the course information early next week, and I hope to see you on future demo sessions. A few things to point out for those of you who have not attended a session before. Your end does not show us video and we can't hear you. So the only way that we have that you're able to interact with us is through the live event Q&A. I've gone ahead and I've posted a welcome message there. So if you could just go ahead and like that message, that just confirms with me that as our numbers are increasing, as more people are getting on, that you are able to see and know where to pose any questions or comments as we move along. So it's in the upper right-hand corner. It has a little question mark. And if you check on that, it will show you the different comments. I don't see anybody liking it yet, so I'm going to wait and make sure that everybody has access and can see that. There we go. Now it's great. Wonderful. So I can see, I'm seeing responses now just to see that you guys are able to interact with us. So if questions arise, please go ahead and just type them out and direct them to the speaker. We'll have certain points at which we stop. There is closed captioning available, should you choose that. You have the option to select that from your end, so you feel free to set that. And without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and start. So Brian is going to be talking, Brian Sherwood will be talking today about using apps in Teams. So in just a moment, we'll have Brian.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda. I'm so excited to be a part of Teams Tips at 2 for my first time. So this is awesome. Sharing a little bit about Teams apps and kind of some of the productivity benefits that you can really get out of Teams using some of the built-in app integrations. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can really show what these apps do. Hopefully, Amanda, I can get you to publish that up or. Cool. All right. So we're going to talk we're going to start with some basic applications of inside of Teams, and you guys may be familiar with these already. The basic apps are really those that you think of when you think of Microsoft Office. So, you've got your Word, your PowerPoint, your Excel. You'll notice that in Teams, whether you're in a chat area or inside of the actual Teams and channels, that when you send files that are Word documents, Excel documents, that sort of thing, you're actually, when you click them, you're going to open them right inside of Teams. So this is a huge productivity enhancement that you can have when you're actually communicating with folks, because you're not only able to send those files and be able to see that same version, but you're also able to co-author. So I'm going to just demo that here really briefly. You can see that in this team that I have set up here, I've uploaded a few test Excel documents and PowerPoints, and you can see that and a Word document as well. And so I'm going to start by just looking at this Word document. So if I take a look here and I click on the Word document, you'll notice that it's loading here for just a second, but it's actually going to take me right into edit mode. So when you share documents inside of a Teams channel, it's automatically going to share with edit mode to everyone who's inside of that team. So anyone who has access to that team will be able to go in and actually edit at the same time. This is a huge productivity enhancement, especially when we're all working remotely and it's hard to kind of get everybody in one place to look at a document. It also reduces that headache of, man, we've got version 3, version 4, version 5, then you get into the final. You're not going to have that issue anymore because everybody's edits that you make are going to happen in real time. So you can see it's loaded this all right in here. It looks like my familiar Word experience that I'm used to, and I actually can scroll through here and make all the same edits that I normally do. Now, if I switch over, I can actually show you guys that this is not just available in Word. It's also going to be available with PowerPoint. So as soon as I click this PowerPoint, you'll see I don't have to load a whole separate window just to load my PowerPoint presentation. I don't have to even do that if I want to edit it. So you'll see this is a PowerPoint that I created with some help desk statistics that was used in a meeting, and I can actually go in here and edit in real time. So that's great. The last one here will be Excel, and I'll share a little bit about how we use Excel at the help desk. We've actually used it quite a bit since we've gone fully remote. We have a limited number of computers that all of our help desk student employees will remote into. And so it's made it really easy to be able to keep track of who's logging into what. We have one shared Excel document that's inside of Teams. Our students go in here and they're able to claim a machine. They can see what machines are already in use. And again, it's all happening in real time. I, as their supervisor, don't have to manage who's logged into what. They're able to kind of do it all at the same time. And so this can be huge for Excel documents that you might have that are on a department share currently, that you get that dreaded, this document is locked for editing message. You're able to do all of that without even leaving the Teams client here. And what's also great about all three of these is they also work on mobile devices. So you're able to access those files, whether you're sitting at a computer, whether you're on an iPad, or maybe you're on your smartphone and you just need to reference it really quickly. You're able to do that inside of the Teams and Office mobile applications as well. And so with that, I'm going to pause on this first item just with these basic applications, and I'm going to see if, yeah, I can definitely try to increase the size. Any questions that have come in so far just on these basic applications, Amanda?
We did have one from Mary Jo. She mentioned that she often has to give an individual permission when she shares a document via Teams. Is there a way to make that automatic?
Sure. So great question. It definitely can get a little bit confusing when you're inside of Teams and you're working with files. It very much depends on where and how you're sharing that document. So when you are in the chat area of Teams, when you share documents, you're actually sharing them out of your OneDrive. And so when I go in here, if I were to try to upload a file to send to Micah, for example, I would be prompted. Actually, let me just go ahead and show you guys this. Hopefully I have something I can upload. Yeah, I might not. It's actually going to prompt me of how I want to share this with him. So you may have seen that by default, when you're sharing in the chat area of Teams, that when you do that, and this is the same if you share from your OneDrive or if you upload a file, that by default, it's going to say people in the chat with this link can view. Now, what you've probably seen is that when you do that, if you click this little icon, the little caret, I should say, next to that, it's going to give you the option to give them edit access as well. That's this little checkbox down here at the bottom. And that is the most common issue that we see with folks that are not able to, edit a document that is shared inside of the chat area. Now, as I mentioned, when you're inside of the Teams area, it's going to be edit by default. So if you upload a file into here, you're going to see the that it's uploaded into the team itself, and you're not going to have to worry about granting edit access there. Any other questions on this first part?
Yes, we had another question. Dennis asked, Brian, can you clarify, did you say you can edit a document from a smartphone, or could you just view it from a smartphone?
Yeah, good question. So I did say that you could edit it from a smartphone. Now, a lot of folks have the Microsoft Teams mobile app on their phone. And so when you have just the Teams mobile app on your phone, you're going to be able to view documents, but you aren't going to be able to edit them inside of the Teams app. You're also going to need a companion app that's called Office, and you'll find that in your app store. And that's going to give you the ability to actually, in real time, edit those documents. And so this is a huge win for your productivity when you're on the go, especially right now where so many of us are working on, sometimes on personal devices and that sort of thing as well. So you'll need the Office app and the Teams app, and then you'll be able to edit on the go.
Okay, we had another question from Sabrina. Sabrina asked, how would you include the Word and PowerPoint files in a Teams meeting, and how do files work for meetings?
Yeah, good question. So inside of a meeting, it'll work very similarly to when you're in chat. So any files that you share inside of a meeting chat will automatically be in your OneDrive, and then they'll be shared with the people that are in the meeting. So you'll see the same experience that I just showed inside of the chat area, where when you share those, when you click this little attachment button, it gives you that option of whether you want folks just to be able to view or to be able to edit.
Okay, we had one other question. Can you upload Adobe PDF files, and can those files be signed in Teams?
Unfortunately, that's a good question. It's one we get a lot. Unfortunately, the university does not have a full Adobe Sign license at the moment, and so that's not possible currently. You can upload and share those files through Teams. You can upload nearly any type of file inside of Teams, but you aren't able to actually do the Adobe Sign component inside of Teams at the moment.
Okay, that's all the questions we have now. Thanks, Brian.
Cool. Okay, so I'm actually going to show a couple things before I take questions again. So one I love to show that's really, really simple and can be a huge time saver is the ability to send email directly inside of Teams, or to send an email into Teams, I should clarify. You can see that I've done this here. It shows that I sent this message, but I sent it via email. And this can be great to be able to potentially forward notifications so that your whole team can see them without necessarily having to clutter your inbox. You also can set this up so that maybe notifications that are coming from a UTD email address go into Teams instead of going into your mailbox. And so a huge time saver. And I don't know about you guys, but I get enough email. I don't need anything more in my inbox than I already have. And doing this is super, super simple. So I just go over here to my channel. This is only available inside of a team channel, not inside of our chat area. I can click on these three dots for more options, and I can choose to get the email address. When I do that, you'll see it generates this long email address that's at a Microsoft domain. And I actually, if I'm the team owner, I can actually change to see, who's allowed to send to this address, whether I want to restrict it to only team members or if I want to allow anybody in these trusted UT domains to be able to do that as well. And so I'm able to do all of that here. Then it's as easy as me sending an email to this email address, and you'll see it'll pop right up here with the content of the email, and it even gives me the option to view the original email in Outlook if I wanted to do that as well. So again, a huge productivity saver, an app that you can integrate there that reduces the clutter on your inbox. The other thing that I love using inside of Teams is forms or polls. And I'm going to show you two kind of ways to do this when you're inside of a team channel. You also can do form polls inside of a chat as well, but I'm going to show you today inside of a team channel. When I go to this very bottom bar here on my compose bar, you'll see that I've got lots of options. If you don't see this one right here with the F for Microsoft Forms, you may have to click the three dots here to show more messaging extensions. But I can go ahead and I can add a quick poll to this channel. And I click that option and I open up Microsoft Forms. You'll see it gives me the ability to set a question. And so I'm going to say, go real simple here. Can add as many options as I want. I even can allow folks to have multiple answers. And so this is a great way to be able to get feedback from your team. When I do that, it's going to show me a preview of what I'm going to send. This is what it will look like. And then when I hit send here, it posts two messages actually in this channel. It posts the actual poll where you can pick a color, and then it shows all of the results, the current results. So I'm actually going to tag my team here, and I can do that with a mention, maybe if it's going to let me. Do an @team, and I'll mention my whole team. And we'll see if I can get some of my team to respond in here with the best color. And by responding here, I can do as easy as just clicking my color, clicking my choice, and hitting submit vote. And you'll notice in real time, it's going to go ahead and it's going to update the results here. And see, I've already gotten 2 responses, and blue is clearly everyone's favorite color. So it's a great way to be able to get feedback from your team in an easy way where you don't have to keep track of tallying up all the results. Now, this is a great thing to have in there, but what's maybe more powerful is doing this inside of a reply. So you can see that earlier, right before our Teams tips at 2 today, I posted a question to my team here, and I said, what do you think of the new concept? I got some replies here that it could use a little more work, maybe a clarifying question. And then I said, do you like option A or B? So what I can do here now is I can actually click on the 3 dots here next to this conversation thread, and go to more options, or more actions, excuse me, and I can say create a new poll. Because I've done that right there on the existing thread, I'm going to do the same process that I just did before. Again, super simple, very easy to use here. You'll notice that forms actually replies to this existing thread. So you can see we had this conversation that was already ongoing. Maybe we had some clarifying questions. And then now I've got forms in here and I've got an embedded poll that's right here in that same conversation thread. If I provided a link or even uploaded the file, I could actually do that same thing on the file that was posted in this channel. And I can see that I can get that feedback right here inside of Teams. So Teams polls are another great productivity saver. Again, folks can interact with them on the go. They can do that on their smartphone or any app or any client where they have Microsoft Teams available. So I will pause there and see if we have any questions on polls and forms or the email integration.
Yes, we did have one question, which I think Dennis was thinking the same thing I was. Can you vote more than once on a poll? I may have been trying to.
Yeah, good question. You cannot. So it will actually change your vote if you vote again. So you'll notice that when I was creating that poll, it did give me the option to allow folks to select more options. They will be able to change their vote, as many times as they would like to. But you'll see that if I vote again, it actually moved my vote to the other option.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian.
Cool. Any other questions at the moment, Amanda?
None right now. Please continue.
Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to show Microsoft Planner, and so you may have used Microsoft Planner, or you may have heard about it if you came to one of our earlier Teams trainings. But I'm actually going to do start a planner from scratch and show how easy it is to just get started with Microsoft Planner inside of Teams. And again, this is an application where it does exist outside of Teams, but you don't really ever have to leave the Microsoft Teams interface. So if I go here and I'm going to create a new tab, and again, this is possible only inside of a team. It's not going to be possible in the chat area. You'll see I have lots and lots of choices, but I'm going to choose Planner. When I do this, it's going to ask me if I want to choose an existing planner that's already linked to this team, or if I want to create a new planner. We're going to give it just a second here. There we go. So I'm going to create a new task list. I'm going to call it Planner. You'll see that if I had an existing task list, I could just pick that to add, but I'm creating something new this time. And I hit save. You'll see it's going to go ahead and post to the team, and it's also going to add a planner up here at the top. So you notice that to get to this planner, it's as simple as changing your tab from post to training planner. Give this just a second to load, and then we will be able to start adding tasks. Now, Planner is really designed to be kind of a light project management tool. It's and designed to maybe track your team's tasks. It's not designed to necessarily plan an entire project. You might need Microsoft Project if you really want to do project management, but this is very, very simple and easy to use for folks. So they're more likely to use it maybe and update their tasks. So you'll see I have a couple concepts here when I'm inside of Planner. I can add as many buckets, or some might call them categories, as I'd like. So if this is for our training planner, let's say I'm going to do communications as one. I have to make sure that I market my training session and make sure I let folks know about it. And I'm going to add a task here that says send an email to last time's participants. And when I do that, I can click this, open that up. I can really easily assign that to Amanda. She's great at sending those communications and putting all that stuff together. I'm going to make sure that she knows that I need this done by Monday, so I can set that due date there as well. And I'm going to say that this is an important priority-wise. It might not be urgent, but it's definitely important. I also have a number of other tools at my disposal here. I can do a checklist if I wanted to. I can add attachments or enter a description. I even have a running comment log down here at the bottom for every single one of my tasks. And then when I go back here and I'm looking at just the planner as a whole, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you guys can see that. You'll see that my communications bucket has this one task. At a glance, I can see when it's due. I can see who it's assigned to. And I know also that Amanda just got a notification from Planner that I assigned her a new task. So it's a great way to help manage your team. Again, you can create as many of these buckets as you like. and a lot of detail that you can put into your tasks, or you can keep it simple and really just make sure that you're not forgetting anything like so many of us are so busy often do. So make sure that you keep your stuff inside of a planner here. Amanda, any questions about that? Or I'll show a couple other features, but I wanted to pause for initial questions.
Yes, we did have a question. I'm also getting a little nervous with the extra work you're assigning me. um, we did have a question about setting up a deadline for a poll. So if you have a certain amount of time frame that you need a response by, are you able to provide them with a deadline so that you ensure that it's completed on time?
Yeah, that's a good question. That there is not a built-in way of doing that currently inside of Forms polls. That's a great piece of feedback, though. I'm definitely going to take that back and add that to the Microsoft forums. Currently, the way you would probably want to do that is just list that in your poll here. You also might be able to close it from the Forms side, but there's no way to do that inside of Teams currently. Any other questions at the moment on Planner or on?
No other questions right now. Thank you.
Cool.
Keep going. You're doing
All
great.
right, awesome. So I'm also going to just show a couple other views when we're inside of Planner. So when I'm back in here, you'll remember that I created a task and I also assigned it to Amanda. But maybe sometimes I want to just see at a glance how many tasks are assigned here. So when I click on the charts view, now I'm not on my board, but I can actually see that there's one task left on this board. It has not been started, so it wasn't marked as being in progress. And I can also see that it's the only task we have is in communications, but if I had a lot of buckets here, I'd be able to kind of see, are any of our areas kind of in need of some attention. I can see graphs based on priority, and I also can see how many tasks each member of my team is assigned. So this can be really helpful as well to just make sure that nobody's overloaded, they don't have too much on their plate. I can kind of see that at a glance. I also can choose the schedule choice here. And again, because I went ahead and scheduled that task for Monday, you'll see that I can actually browse through on a calendar here, and I can see if I click this, it's going to pop that up and see that what's due Monday is that the email needs to be sent to last time's participants by Amanda. So again, very easy to use. You're able to really just add, as many tasks as you need. And you can see it's as simple as typing and hitting enter, and you're able to create those tasks to be able to be assigned out. So Planner's a huge, really great productivity enhancement, and it's something that you can do right inside of the Microsoft Teams app. Any questions on Planner before I show our last app for today?
Not on Planner, but we did have one jumping back to the polling feature. Somebody just mentioned that they have used Polly and they are able to set a time and a deadline to respond to polls. So if you're looking for another alternative, that might be an option. And we did have one comment come in. Once a shared project is complete, how do I save it to a file for a reference a year from now, for example? Is there a way to store that data so that they can access it later?
Yeah, and definitely I'll give another endorsement. Polly is another polling tool that's built inside of Teams as well. So we have that enabled in our tenant as well. So good comment there. Works very similarly, might have a little bit of differences and different features. As far as Planner goes, you are able to export a plan, but you'll have to do it in the full version of Planner. And so when you get into here and you're looking at the Planner here, you're not going to see all of the options that are available on this plan because this is just the Teams side of interface of Planner. Like any app inside of Teams that has a tab, you'll see there's a little world icon up here in the top right. That world icon is going to take you to the actual Planner web interface. And when you get there, you'll see that there's options to export the plan. I think it exports to an Excel, but there are options to be able to export it and save it somewhere for later. Any other questions before we show our last one?
Yes, Dennis had a quick question. Is there an app that you could use for to-dos just for yourself? I guess he means other than your own notebook. Some sort of app that we have that we can maximize efficiency through.
Yes, great question. So we get a lot of requests for, I want to have a planner just for me. This is something that does exist, although with a little bit of a caveat. There's a tool from Microsoft that is called To Do. It is available as soon as your account is moved to Exchange Online. So we're in the process right now of moving all of our faculty and staff from on-prem email to Exchange Online or Office 365 email. Once that's complete for your account, you'll have access to To-Do, which will allow you to manage your task list in a very similar way that you're seeing here in Microsoft Planner. Awesome.
That's
And with
great. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, and so with that, I'm going to show my last app integration for the day today, and that's going to be Microsoft Praise that's built into Teams. And so if I click on my messaging extension here, oh, I actually have it down here at the bottom. I'm going to see this little ribbon icon, and this has been invaluable for us at the help desk in this before this whole COVID situation happened, but even now it's even more so important. And Praise allows you to really quickly and easily give thanks, give praise, give kudos to members of your team. And so we use this at the help desk when we get great customer feedback, when we see our staff maybe go above and beyond, you know, be able to post that here. So when I go down to my conversation bar and click on this little ribbon icon, it's going to pop up the Praise interface, and I can do this on the desktop. I also can do this from the Teams mobile app. And so you'll see I have a couple options of different badges that I can choose from. So I'm going to choose creative. I'm actually going to give that to Amanda. So I get to pick. Again, the folks that you'll be able to choose from here are members of your team. So you won't be able to pick folks that are not in your team. And then you can write a little note. So can type whatever I want to type in here. For example, at the help desk, we'll paste sometimes pieces of what the comments are that folks might have left for the person. Then I can click preview, and then I can click send. You'll notice it puts it in a nice little card. It puts it here inside of the Teams channel chat, and it tags Amanda so that she knows that she was given praise. And so this is a great way to kind of give some public recognition in a really easy way. And Amanda can respond, others can respond. They, you know, a lot of times what we see at the help desk with our student staff is that everybody gives hearts for those great customer experiences. So it's a really great way to kind of engage your team, especially right now when we can't be face-to-face. We can't, you know, we can't do that team building work that we're used to. So praise is another favorite of mine inside of Teams. And with that, I think we're wrapping up our half hour here. But Amanda, any questions on Praise or on any of the other apps that we went over today?
I don't have any questions in the queue right now.
Awesome. Well, there are lots more apps inside of Teams that we did not have time to cover today. You'll see lots of different ones over here on the app bar on the left. You'll also see a bunch more down in your messaging extensions at the bottom. And if you run into any problems with those, you know, the OIT help desk is here to help you if you need assistance with any of those. So.
All right. Thank you all so much for attending today and for attending our sessions that we've been hosting. It is our hope that we have provided you with information and valuable tips to better equip you to do your job. A few of our upcoming sessions will include information on using Teams channels, remote collaboration, and how to create a communication plan for promoting a live event. So your feedback is critical as we plan and assess our sessions. If you don't mind, will you please take 2 minutes to let us know your thoughts and your suggestions on future sessions as well. I'm going to include a link real quick in our chat so that you can just access it right away and provide some feedback on the session today. And if there's suggestions for any future tips and tricks that you'd like to learn so that you can be more efficient in Teams. Brian, looks like we did get one question in here. 1 second. I'm going to pull you back on and let you answer this. Oh, Mary Jo has a comment that live captions do not work on smartphone or tablet. She tried on both and ended up coming up to her computer. So she wasn't sure if that was a setting, Brian, or just something within the Teams feature.
I will have to take that one back. I can't say that I've attended a live event from my phone, so I will have to do some investigation on that. And Mary Jo, I'll follow up with you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Just one last point. I do want to go ahead and pull up our, see if I can share it, if it'll work for me. There we go. Our social media channels, just so that you're aware if there is a way that you want to connect. If you do want to find out about upcoming sessions or events that we're hosting, please take a moment to like or to follow one of our pages. We are here to help you, and we definitely want to be supportive of you as you move forward with remote work. So thank you all again, and we'll see you at our next Teams Tips at 2.